Excel Tutorial 8, pages 466 through 480. On page 466, it's going to tell you to open EVG, File Save As, EVG Employees, go to the documentation worksheet, enter your name and date, all the things we do on every single tutorial that we do. So go do those real quick, and then come back and we're going to start on number 3. Go to the Employee Data Worksheet. The worksheet contains an Excel table named Employee, which includes each employee's ID, last name, hire date, birth date, gender, location, job status, performance rating, current salary, medical plan, dental plan, age, and years of service at EVG. Scroll down and to the right. Although the column headers remain visible as you scroll down, the employee ID and name disappear as you scroll to the right. Okay, so as you can see, this is not what we want. All right, to control home, select cell C2, okay, and then freeze the panes so that column A and B remain on the screen as you scroll across the screen. Now, freezing is something we have done before, so I hope you remember where it is. Do you? All right, so we're going to go View, and we're going to go Freeze Panes, and we're going to go Freeze Panes. Okay? Now, as you scroll, okay, we're still going to be able to see the information that we need to see, which is the employee's employee ID and the employee's last name. Okay, so that's what we want to see. We can see A and we can see B by going to C2 and going View, Freeze Panes, Freeze Panes. Okay, there's a lot of reading in this chapter, and I cannot stress to you enough how important it is because there's some pretty complex formulas we'll be working on. So read page 467. There's a lot of interesting and important information in here, particularly in the green box. Apply a text format to fields with numerical text data. Make sure you read that. Read about using if functions. I know it's long, but there's no way around this. You have to be able to read it so that you can actually understand the syntax. So read all of that. Pause your little video here and stop and go read that. And when you come back, we're going to go on to page 469. All right, on page 469, to determine which employees have birthdays in the specified month, in cell N1, okay? Here is N, here is 1. Enter birthday month. The Excel table, press your enter key, expands to include this column and applies the table formatting to all the rows in the new column. Make sure that cell N2 is the active cell and then click the Insert Function button next to the formula bar. The Insert Function dialog box opens. Step 3. Click Logical in the Or Select a Category list. Okay? This is right here, Or Select a Category. And again, all of this should be very familiar to you. Scroll down to Logical. Then we're going to click If in the Select a Function box. There's If. Then click the OK button. The Function Arguments dialog box for the If function opens. Step number 4. In the Logical Test box, type month, D2 equals the absolute value of 81. Okay? Right there in step 4, type that in. Month. The absolute value of, you know what I'm going to tell you to do, don't you? Stop, check, 2 equals absolute value of AD1. All right, when you have it correct, press your Tab key. This condition tests whether the employee's birth month is equal to the month specified in cell 81. The function month returns the month number of the date specified in cell D2. True appears to the right of the logical test argument box, indicating this employee has a birthday in the specified month. Right there. Step number 5. In the value if true box, type yes. Okay, so there's our value if true box. We type yes. Press your Tab key. This argument specifies that if the condition is true, the employee's birth month matches the value in cell 81, display yes as the formula result. The value to the right of the value if true argument box is yes, because the condition is true. Notice Excel inserts quotation marks around the text value because you do not include them. Isn't that nice of them? So value if true, we typed in yes. As you can see, it put in the quotation marks for us, and it's right there. Step number 6. In the value if false box, type open quote, close quote. And what does open quote, close quote mean? You should know that by now. Okay, super important that you are starting to retain all this stuff so that you can write your own formulas when this class is over. This argument specifies that if the condition is false, the employee's birth month does not match the value in cell 81, displaying nothing in cell N2. The value to the right of the value if false argument box is open closed quotes, which indicates the cell N2 appears blank if the condition is false. Turn the page and take a look at figure 8-3. Your function arguments dialog box for the if function should look just like the one in figure 8-3. Check it really quickly, make sure everything matches, and if it matches, go ahead and click the OK button. The formula equals if month D2 equals absolute value of 81, yes, and then open quote, close quote appears in the formula bar, and yes appears in cell N2 because the condition is true. The formula is automatically copied to all cells in column N of the table. See figure 8-4. Okay, so as you can see, first of all, you can read our formula right up here. It is correct. And you can see that yes applies to certain rows and not to others. And if it's not a yes, then it gets nothing, right? Open quote, close quote means nothing. So go ahead and pop save real quick for me. And then I want you to read on the bottom of page 470 and all of 471 about using the AND function, which continues on to 472. Again, I cannot tell you enough how important all this reading is in this chapter so that you actually understand what you're doing. And if I give you an exam and I tell you to go write one of these formulas, you'll be able to do it. If you don't read this and later on a test I tell you to write the formula, you won't be able to do it. So make sure you read all that. Okay, just pause the video. Go read it, and when you come back, we're going to be on page 473. Okay, top of page 473. To calculate the 401k company match using the if and functions. In cell O1, right there, enter 401k company match. And press your Enter key. The Excel table expands to include the new column, and cell O2 is the active cell. Ensure that you're in O2. Okay, you can tell by looking right there at that name box. And then click the Insert Function button. Step 3. Click If in the Select a Function area, and then click OK. The function Arguments dialog box opens. Step number 4. In the logical test box, right there, type and you can see it right here in step number 4, open parent G2 equals full-time. Okay, type that whole formula in, please. And G2 equals, remember, no spaces, and M2 is greater than or equal to 1. And you know what I'm going to tell you to do. Stop and check. And open parent G2 equals open quote FT close quote comma M2 greater than equals sign 1 and close parentheses. All right, press your tab key. This logical test evaluates whether the employee is full-time, indicated by FT in cell G2, and has worked at EBG for 1 year or more. True appears to the right of the logical test box, indicating that the condition for the employee in row 2 is true. The employee is eligible for the 401k plan. Step number 5. In the value if true box, type I2 times 0.03. I2 times 0.03. Okay, I2, I'm always checking, always checking. Then press your tab key. This argument specifies that if the condition is true, the employee is eligible for the 401k plan as determined by the AND function, the amount in the employee's salary cell is multiplied by 3%. The amount of the employer's 401k matching contribution is $3,261.18. Okay? Now, this one isn't rounded, but if it rounded this, it'll be 18 cents. Okay, I hope you can see that. All right, step number 6. In the value if false box, type 0. This argument specifies that if the condition is false, the employee is not eligible for the 401k plan as determined by the AND function. The amount displayed in cell O2 is 0, which appears to the right of the value if false box. See figure 8-8 and be sure that your function's argument dialog box matches that figure. When everything is correct, go ahead and click OK. The formula with the if function that you just created is entered in cell O2 and copied to all rows in column, to all the rows in column O of the table. Now, position the pointer on the top of O1. You're going to go like this, okay? You're going to catch that column header and select the entire column all at once. Format the range using the accounting format and then widen the column to display all of the formulas. Again, all of this should be incredibly familiar to you by now. As I click on doing it, this is something we learned way back in like chapters 1 and 2. All right, when you have that finished, go ahead and flip over to page 474. Select cell O2. The formula, and you can read it right there, okay, in your textbook, and make sure that in your formula bar you match, appears in the formula bar, and $3,261.18 appears in cell O2 because the condition is true. See figure 8-9, check your screen and match it up against that figure, and make sure that yours is similar. All right, once you've done that, go ahead and click Save, please. Now, read about using the dated if function to calculate employee age on page 474. Then on page 475, you need to read about using the OR function. Okay, and then on page 477, structured references. Super important that you read about structured references, understand how to write one and how to read one, exactly what they mean. Okay. So read all of that up to the top of page 478, stop the video, read it all, and when you come back, we're going to continue on 478. All right, to calculate the salary increase using the if and or functions, in cell P1, enter salary increase. And press your Enter key. The Excel table expands to include the new column, and cell P2 is the active cell. Ensure that P2 is the active cell, there, and then click the Insert Function button next to the formula bar, and your Insert Function dialog box opens. We're going to select If, and hit OK. All right. Now, in step number 4, it's in yellow, so that's a huge warning to you, correct? So make sure you read the little yellow box that talks to you about your square brackets, and you need to locate those square brackets on your keyboard. They should be next to the letter P. All right, in the logical text box, type. Are you ready? Are we in our logical text box? We are. Or. Now, look really closely at the order of these symbols because we have an open, like that, open, and then a open square bracket. Check it, make sure you don't get the squiggly bracket, but you have the square bracket. So we have open paren, square bracket, location, close square bracket. Man, that's hard to read on that screen, but I think I have it right. Equals, quote, your close quote, comma, open bracket, notation, close square bracket, equals Cisco. All right. So this logical test evaluates whether the employee works in New York or works in San Francisco. Click your collapse dialog box. See all of this and make sure I have it right. So when you click your collapse dialog box like that, it allows you to see the whole formula and check it. And it's really hard to check these because it's pretty small and you have a lot of different symbols. And if I would have made that a capital L, it would have made this a lot easier to read. Equals, and you know that capitals don't count in here. It's not case sensitive. Equals location. Do I have my comma? Yes, I do. It's the only comma I need. All right, when you've checked it and you make sure it's all right, go ahead and click the collapse box again to open it back up. And press your tab key. All right. And it reads true to the right of logical test box because the employee in the active row, row 2, is eligible for the 3.5% salary increase. Okay. Now, if you have an error in there and it did not come out right, it's super hard to see all those tiny little symbols. Go ahead and try it again and just correct it and make sure that it matches figure 8-13. All right, when you have that done, let's move to page 479, number 7. In the value if true box, type square bracket current salary square bracket times 0.035. All right, square bracket current salary square bracket times 0.035, and then press your tab key. Of course, obviously you want to check that and make sure it's right. This argument specifies that if the logical test is true, the employee is eligible for the 3.5% increase. The amount in the employee's salary cell is multiplied by 3.5%. The salary increases for all employees beginning in row 2 whose logical test is true appear to the right of the value if true box. Step number 8. In the value if false box, type square bracket current salary square bracket times 0.025. Okay, square bracket current salary square bracket times 0.025. This argument specifies that if the logical test is false, the employee is not eligible for the 3.5% salary increase. The amount in the employee's salary cell is multiplied by 2.5%. The salary increases for all employees beginning in row 2 whose logical test is false appear to the right of the value if false box. See figure 8-14. I'm actually checking mine while I'm trying to read. When you have that all done, and you can see that your first two figures match what the book is showing you, go ahead and click OK. I'm missing a parentheses or a bracket, so I'm going to check my formulas again. And there it is. Do you see it? I had an open and I didn't have a closed. And it's still not happy with me. So I am going to stop and check this really quick and see what my problem is. Okay, let's take a look. If or, it says I don't have matching brackets. So I'm going to pause this real quick and go through mine and check it against the book. Do the same with yours. Okay, and I was missing a closed paren right after that San Francisco, and that's what was causing the issue with my formula. And that is the beauty of Excel, are these beautiful color codes that showed me what I did wrong. So when you have that corrected, and you correct it right just like I did right against your textbook and see if you missed something, press your enter key. Okay? All right. Step number 10. position the pointer at the top of cell P1. Okay, so you're selecting the entire column of P. And format the range with the accounting format and increase the column width. Okay, so typical stuff that you do, just like that, right? Definitely want to hit save after writing that big hairy formula. And just flip to page 480, which says deselect. And then compare your screen that you have right now against figure 8-15 on page 480. Ensure that your figures match, and then click that save key, and you're ready to move on to the next video.